Am I the idiot for not wanting my female best friend to move out once I get married? I know this sounds a little weird, but I'm in such a strange position right now and I genuinely have no idea what to do. So me, male 32, and my best friend Sam, female 32, have been living together for 5 years now. Originally it was supposed to be a temporary situation because of some health issues she was having, but we decided she would move in permanently when we found out her health wasn't going to get better. She's schizophrenic and blind, along with having various other medical issues, so a lot of daily tasks are difficult for her. Our arrangement is, I cook, clean, drive, and do other things she struggles with, while she pays for all our shared living expenses. This honestly has been a dream situation for us. It allows me to do my dream job, for which pay isn't great, without ever really having to worry about money, while she lives a pretty normal, independent life and gets support with her health issues, plus she never has to do housework. I met my girlfriend Emma, female 31, 3 years ago. Sam and Emma were never super close, but they were always friendly and Emma was always super understanding of our living situation and never mentioned having a problem with it to me. Recently we started talking about getting married and moving in together. While we were discussing it, I mentioned that I didn't know what would happen to Sam once we got married. Emma got kind of irritated, and said Sam would just move out and get her own place finally. I reminded her that it wasn't that simple, but we started fighting and I asked to change the subject. It came up again when Emma said something about moving into my apartment, and I told her we couldn't because it was Sam's apartment, not mine, and I'd never be able to afford the rent. Edit. Emma has known the whole time about how my financial situation works. This is no surprise to her. I guess she didn't know the apartment isn't mine, but we still have the money to get a place to live and support ourselves without Sam. We started fighting again. I said Sam could never live by herself and I wasn't sure I could get married if it meant I had to leave her alone. Emma said she needed space to think and drove away. A couple hours later she texts me and basically says that I can keep having an emotional affair with Sam if I want, but she won't put up with it anymore. She doesn't want to talk to me for a week, and then after that we can talk about if we want to be together. I'm seriously so lost and conflicted on what to do. Emma never expressed these opinions before. I completely understand why she's upset, but Sam isn't a regular roommate that can just move out. I want to be with Emma and live with her, but I can't just kick Sam out on the side of the road either. I'd absolutely be willing to leave Sam if she found another arrangement that worked for her. But I might be TA for not being willing to leave Sam without a new caretaker to marry Emma. Edit. You guys are right. It's dumb for me to try and hide this from Sam. She probably would want to know what's going on. I'm going to tell her later when I pick her up from work. Also, while my pay isn't great, including my savings and Emma's job too, we could get married and be fine financially without Sam's money. And Emma knew our financial arrangement this whole time. It's no surprise to her. Lastly, I just want to make it clear that while I'm hesitant to leave Sam, it's not because I like the money and the lifestyle she provides. I want to marry Emma. This is 100% about what's best for Sam. But Sam and I will talk about it in a few hours and I'll update then. Now for a few comments before the update. Info. Have you actually ever discussed with Sam how comfortable she'll be with this? Why are you speaking for her? I'm sure Sam has opinions on what she can/can't do and possibly have others in her deep corner that could help. Talk with Sam then go back to Emma after speaking with her. I can't come up with a decision right now. Then the original poster responded with, Sam needs heavy support for her medical issues and said herself that living alone isn't an option. I'm not just making that up. And while she does have plenty of other friends she could live with/get support from, she needs someone to actually care for her, and that's completely different. Most people aren't up for that. I probably should talk to Sam, but I know she'd feel guilty, and I don't want her to since it's not her fault, so I wanted to fix it myself so she wouldn't have to find out. Comment 2. The problem here is that Emma wants to marry you and you alone. Not to marry you and Sam. You never mentioned that you would or could not abandon Sam. If you want to spend your lifetime caretaking Sam, I respect your choice. But the chances of you finding a woman who is willing to share your attention with Sam is highly unlikely. No idiots here. Now for the update. Hi guys. Thanks so much for all the comments and advice on my last post. I just wanted to update you all on the situation since then. You guys were right that I should have included Sam in the conversation about all this from the beginning. She was, like me, surprised at Emma's reaction. Sam and I agreed that open communication between all three of us is the best way to fix this, so we decided not to talk about it until all of us were talking together. I gave Emma the space she asked for a week, and then called her and asked if she would be willing to come over so we could talk about it. We had a very long, very emotional conversation that night. Emma apologized for blowing up and said that while she's always understood and respected me and Sam's relationship, she hates feeling like she has to share me. She said she wanted to be my first priority, not Sam, and if I couldn't do that she understood but she didn't want to be with me anymore. I told her she had nothing to apologize for, That I was sorry for acting the way I did, that I loved her more than anything in the world and I was stupid for doing anything to make her feel like that wasn't true. Sam also apologized for crossing boundaries, and that if Emma wanted to get married she wouldn't get in the way of that. She said that this past week had made her reconsider a lot of things, and that she wanted to be as independent as she could be, and that she knew being her caretaker had been hard on me. We did a lot more talking than that, but that was the gist of the conversation. I asked Emma, when we were alone, if she would take me back. She said she loved me and she was glad for my change of heart, but she still needed space to think about if our relationship was going to work. 2 days ago we went out on our first date since then, and she told me she wanted to try again. I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. We managed to find a place a short walk from Sam's, and we've been helping her look into medical caretakers and housekeepers so she can have some space and independence. This is a huge change for all of us, but Sam will still be a part of me and Emma's life. She just won't depend on me anymore. And anyways, I think all of us were ready for a new chapter. Everything has worked out so much better than I could have hoped for. I'm so lucky to have such special people in my life. Thanks again to everyone who helped me with this. Edit. Honestly, I can't believe the people predicting the collapse of my marriage or telling me to abandon my best friend. Me and Emma are both deeply in love and over the moon about this next step in our life. She loves Sam about as much as I do and also wants to be able to help out sometimes. Sam needs mental support as much as physical support, and I'm no longer providing physical support. I'm not going to run away as fast as I can to prove a point. Emma's a grown adult. If she was unhappy she would say something like she has before. Honestly, I wasn't looking for advice, just wanted to share this fantastic news. Some of you guys are pretty cruel. This is really ruining my happiness about being engaged, so I might end up taking it down. We'll see. Comment 1. After reading through the OG post, do you think it best to get a new place so close to Sam? Will you not be tempted to be going over there and fall into your old ways? It is kind of you to be looking out for her, but it still seems like you are putting her first. Frankly, it doesn't matter if she was. Surprised by Emma's reaction. Did she think that Emma would be okay with also being her live-in caregiver? You aren't out of the woods yet. You got her back for now, but you really need to be putting work in to show where your priorities lay. Comment 2. Firstly, let me just congratulate you, sir, for having displayed a remarkable commitment to compassion, understanding, and human decency in such an unconventional and emotionally complex scenario. My commendation for being a paragon of virtue in a world that can often lack these qualities is endless. However, my first comment has to be that you are inarguably the sheriff of a whole town for this entire scenario, and let me explain why. You've got this savior complex going on with Sam, using her health issues to make you feel better about yourself. It's quite pitiful when you look at it objectively. The fact that you took upon yourself the role of a caretaker for your adult friend, out of what? Misguided nobility? A hero complex? Don't make me laugh. Secondly, to Emma. Emma? What are you doing, my dear? You are selling yourself short in a major way. You're marrying a man who has one foot in another relationship already. It's only a matter of time before you realize you've signed up to be second best. I just hope it's sooner rather than later, because no one deserves that. And Sam, if you're reading this, you've allowed yourself to become a burden on your friend. It's simply not okay, even if your health isn't great. No adult should have to care for another in such a dependent way unless they're a professional caregiver. Take some responsibility, woman. So, in essence, you're all TA. Please, everyone, prove me wrong. Show me how this dysfunctional tricycle isn't destined to crash and burn. Seriously, enlighten me. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for being a burden on my sister? When I, male 21, was a kid, my mom passed away and my sister, female 28, was basically my maternal figure. This happened when I was 6 and my dad goes to work at 5 a.m. and only comes back around 11 p.m. My sister usually took care of me. She sacrificed a lot to take care of me, and she spoiled me a lot too. Despite my dad telling her not to worry about cooking, she would always come home from school and cook, and she was the one who helped me pack for school trips. My dad and I are really grateful to her, and she always says she wouldn't have done anything different. She was basically my mom, and I'm very close with her. She calls me daily and checks in on me, and does the same with my dad. Once again, for my dad and I, we couldn't imagine life without her. We both feel really bad about her sacrificing her childhood, but she insists she didn't sacrifice anything as she still did stuff and all she did extra was cook and help take care of. But that's a huge responsibility that me and my dad acknowledge. My sister and her girlfriend 24F have been in a relationship for 2 to 3 years. I recently moved to my sister's city after transferring to her college. I went to visit her and her girlfriend and catch up over lunch since it's been 6 to 7 months since I've seen my sister. This was my first time meeting her GF. When I saw my sister and met her GF, everything was normal. My sister invited me to visit their apartment whenever I had a chance. My sister asked me if I wanted some of her home-cooked meals she made for me as a kid, and I smiled and asked if she could make one of my favorites. I love my sister's cooking and I was really happy she offered. Her GF's face contorted, but she didn't say anything. My sister got called into a work emergency at her hospital and told me and her GF to continue lunch without her and finish meeting each other. As soon as my sister left, her GF's attitude started changing. She told me my sister always spoke so fondly of me when all I seemed like was a burden, and how my dad and I were misogynistic and brainwashed my sister to be our servant. Shegf said she has my sister, a victim who doesn't realize she's a victim. She said so many hurtful things and said I came back into my sister's life, and even now I'm being a burden by asking her to cook for me. We both left, but it didn't end there. She messaged me on Instagram with more of the same stuff. She said if I care about my sister I won't tell her the conversation we had, since my GF was just looking out for my sister, and I would slowly take me and my dad out of my sister's life. I feel so bad. I never wanted my sister to lose her childhood or be my servant. The more I think about it, the more I think maybe her GF is right? So am I the idiot for being a burden on my sister her entire life? Should I slowly distance myself from her? What do I do to let her live her own life? Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. Tell your sister immediately. Her GF is trying to alienate her from her family, and is likely controlling her other relationships as well. You aren't a burden, and the GF sounds like the sort of poison you don't want anywhere near your sister, who seems like a very kind person. You have written proof that the GF is harassing you and manipulating your sister. I recommend you send it to your sister. Then the original poster responded with, but what if this ruins their relationship? My sister seems happy with her. I don't want to once again be the reason she sacrifices it. Knowing my sister, there's a good chance she may end it because she tends to be overprotective of me. What if she ends up denying herself happiness? Comment 2. Not the idiot. Please tell your sister what is happening. This is not okay. Also, as someone who had a hand in raising my younger sister, and have more of a mom/daughter relationship with, I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. Yes, I gave up a lot, but the love and pride I feel for my sister is more than I ever could describe. It sounds like your sister may feel the same about you. Don't let this girlfriend tear that apart. Now for the update. Thank you all for your advice. I collected evidence of my sister's GF and the messages she sent me, and was thinking about whether or not to show my sister. I talked to my father about it since it includes him too, and my father cried at the thought of his daughter being better off without him. But both my father and I don't want to cut my sister out of our life, and we thought we were selfish. My father has never cried except for when my mom died. He didn't cry when his parents died. But that day he cried, thinking about not having contact with his daughter. The second time in my life I've seen him cry. I finally showed my sister with my dad, and she was shocked. She said she's never thought of it as a burden to care for me, and she hugged me, and we all had a family crying session as we reflected on the hardships and memory after my mother passed away. My father and I told my sister we don't mind what the girlfriend did, and she should be with her if she's happy, but my sister said it's run its course. Anyone who doesn't like my dad and me isn't right for her, is what she said, and that the three of us are a package deal. My sister broke it off with her GF, and her GF unfortunately has nowhere to go since my GF let her stay in her apartment so far without asking for rent. My sister blocked her on everything, and so did I. Her GF messaged me on a burner account saying she doesn't even care that I made her homeless. That's the least of her happiness. But it's that I ruined my sister's love and that I'm homophobic. I showed my sister those messages, and my sister laughed and told me to ignore any communication from her. My sister has assured me I didn't ruin the relationship, and she would have been heartbroken if I or my dad distanced ourselves. She said she's proud of the Alan I grew up to be, and she wouldn't change anything about the past. We both cried again. That's it. Thank you, Reddit. Edit. At first I made a post on account to not spam subreddit, but realized I could edit here. A lot of people mentioned we should do something for my sister to show her our appreciation. I reached out to her boss, who is my friend's older brother, and asked if she had any vacation days, and he said she should be getting a winter break for Christmas. Usually she spends this break at home with us or somewhere else since she's saving up. I talked it through with my dad, and one of my sister's dreams has been to visit the Canary Islands. She's always told us this, and has even said it would be a perfect winter spot to avoid the chill. So we are pulling together money to get her a 12-day round trip. We will have everything booked in the next week, and we will surprise her with it as soon as everything is confirmed. That's all. Once again, thanks to Reddit. I won't be doing any more posts or anything. I'm going to abandon this account soon. Thank you all. We are also paying for 2 of her best friends to go with her, obviously. We don't want her to go alone, as that's not fun. Comment 1. I'm so glad everything worked out for you and your family, and you can continue to love each other unconditionally. Thank you for updating us on what happened. Comment 2. This is so wholesome. Just make sure you always tell her how appreciative you feel for all she's done. She should hear everything you said in the original post. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.